What's going on, everyone? So, Lakers official Twitter shared this image of Rui Hachimura, Austin Reaves, and Max Christie, obviously listening and taking advice, probably most likely from the coaching staff. A lot of the Lakers have been in the facility working hard. I've shared a bunch of photos and videos and stuff of pretty much everybody really putting in the work. LeBron James has even kind of been getting shots up and stuff. I haven't really seen him do any intense workout. Same thing with Anthony Davis. They are getting shots and reps up, but they also were just in the Olympics, right? They were just in the finals, just won a gold medal. So, I understand them. Hey, take a couple weeks off. Got training camp right around the corner, right? It is great to see, though, that the other Lakers, not named your stars, right, are in the gym, in the weight room, training, working hard, working with the coaching staff. I mean, even Jeannie Buss in an interview was talking about how the Lakers players are really working hard and already working with the coaching staff. And JJ and the coaching staff is already, working on sets and plays and things that they want to kind of get across and instill in this roster, in this team. It's great. It's great to see, right? You see guys very committed, working hard. But I thought these three in the picture, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reaves, and Max Christie, I thought was just very interesting in and of itself, because these three guys are arguably going to be the three biggest pieces for the Lakers this upcoming season, outside of course, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I think D'Lo you can throw in that conversation too. Of course, D'Lo's probably going to be your third guy again this season, but there's also questions about, do they move him at the trade deadline? What ends up ultimately happening? Obviously, same thing with Rui Hachimura. Rui Hachimura could very well be on his way out at some point, maybe even before training camp. But, as the team is currently constructed, as the team currently looks and is built, these three guys are going to be expected to be huge. I mean, two of these three guys were, our starters last season and probably our starters this season, right? Max Christie is the guy that is expected to have that emergence, the guy that is expected to kind of have that breakout. And look, Austin Reaves himself predicted that Max Christie's the guy that's gonna have that emergence this season. And look, he said the same thing last season about D'Angelo Russell, and he was spot on. He was absolute money in that prediction. So, hopefully Austin Reaves is 2 for 2 and Max Christie kind of take over. But diving into these three in particular, right? I want to kind of discuss these three specifically, because again, I do think that these are going to be three of your top 7 guys, maybe top 8 guys for the rotation. Obviously, I think the Lakers will go deeper during the regular season, but I'm talking about who are your clear 7 guys, 8 guys. I think these three are in that conversation. Without a doubt, Austin Reaves and Rui Hachimura are. It's just Max Christie. Where does he fit? How well does he play this year? Because ideally, he makes perfect sense for what the Lakers need as that 3-and-D guard. But start with Austin Reaves. Let's get Austin Reaves out the way, right? So look, Austin Reaves, I really like him as a player. I hyped this man up like he was the second coming of Michael Jordan last offseason. And he was disappointing. But even in a disappointing season, he still gave you, 16 points, 4.5 rebounds, or 4.4 rebounds if you want to be exact, and then 5.5 assists. Right? And I said going into last season, I wouldn't be shocked if he was a 25-5 guy. 20 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And he wasn't that far off. I wasn't that far off. And he had a terrible start to the season. I mean, it was terrible. I mean, he had a stretch for 20, 25 games where he was 28% from 3. I mean, he was abysmal. And he was just very inconsistent. And that was the issue all season long, right? He couldn't find his footing. It was a liability defensively, right? It's just he'd have these games, he'd have these, 3 to 5 game stretches where it was just man, there's Austin Reaves. Is this the emergence? Is he back? I don't know how many times we all talked about it through just the watch along streams over on As It Stands Lakers, stuff like that. It's just, and every time he just wasn't able to fully put it together. Every time it was just disappointing. It was just come on, man. We really need you to figure this out. And, a lot of the talk and conversation was that he just was tired. He had tired legs, played all 82 games, played heavy minutes, was a huge part of FIBA after coming off of a deep playoff run where he, again, was playing, most minutes than anybody really. He played a lot of minutes. He had a lot of wear and tear, right? tired legs. Okay, fine. I'll give you that last year. But this year, he's gotten plenty of rest. This year, he's been out golfing all offseason, right? So he should be primed, ready, and expected to have a huge part for this team. Like, I do expect that Austin Reaves will kind of get back to being the Austin Reaves we know. And it wasn't just so much, like even in the playoffs and stuff like that. And I've had people just kind of blanket look at stats and stuff like that. But if you actually watch the games, Austin Reaves was not Austin Reaves from the year prior. Even in the good games, right? He had a couple games where he couldn't miss or anything like that. But it was just the lack of the aggressiveness for him. And being in attack mode and being crafty and doing all the things that we saw the previous season. A lot of times he was just settling, where you didn't see him settle a lot last season, right? Like he was more putting the ball on the deck, getting to his spots, doing those kind of awkward shots, but he hit them. And then you look at last year, and even in the playoffs, right? Up until game 4, really, Austin Reaves wasn't Austin Reaves. Right? Like he was, again, I know he had a couple games where, he had like 15 points or whatever, but like, again, it was like, go look at the shot attempts and stuff, right? Like it wasn't him being aggressive. It wasn't him in attack mode. It wasn't him taking charge. You saw that in game 4, but at that point it was already too late. And again, it's probably tired legs and all that stuff. Fine. Okay. I'll give you that benefit of the doubt. But this season, can't have that excuse. This season, I need him in attack mode. I need him to start hitting shots, because that also didn't help, right? Because when teams are like, this dude's shooting 30% from 3, let him shoot, right? Because we know if you go out and challenge it or you get too close, he's going to try to take you off the dribble and get into the paint and try to score, around the free throw line extended area, right? Like, so teams are just kind of like, hey, let him, if he wants to take that deep 3, let him, right? Well, if he was hitting consistently and on a regular basis, well, now teams can't do that. Teams can't just sag off of you. All right? So you are able to be more aggressive. You are able to do things. So we really need Austin Reaves to kind of get his shot back. Look, I still believe he could be, an 18 to 20 point a game guy. Dude, again, he was 16 points per game last season as the 4th option on a season in which all of his numbers across the board were down. All right? Like, if he can just get back to the efficiency that Austin Reaves is, then he's an 18 to 20 point a game guy easy, even as your 4th option. So I need Austin Reaves back. But Max Christie, and then we'll close and finish with Rui Hachimura, because also Rui, I don't know for certain if he's going to be here to start the season, where I have the utmost confidence that both Reaves and Christie will be. But Max Christie, look, some people are like, he isn't worth the money and blah, blah, blah. He absolutely is. He might be our second best on-ball defender behind Jared Vanderbilt. Not overall defender. I'm talking about on-ball defender, right? Because obviously you have like Anthony Davis stuff. But Max Christie is very good on both sides of basketball. He's a guy that has shown the ability to make plays for himself, make plays for others, defend. 40% on catch and shoot threes. And he's done that. I mean, he was 40% on catch and shoot threes his rookie season. Right? So he's a 40% catch shoot 3-point shooter. Play defense. He is a 3-and-D guard right now that can slide over and play the small forward position on occasion. I like him more at the 2, but on occasion in a pinch, could he slide over and play the point or the 3? Sure. He just never really got the opportunity, which is incredibly odd considering that like our entire defense was injured last year, and a lot of like the 2 guard, right? You didn't have Gabe Vincent, you didn't have Cam Reddish at stretches, you didn't have Jared Vanderbilt. Like Max Christie would have made perfect sense for like large stretches last season, and he just couldn't see the basketball court, right? A lot of that was Darvin Ham, and I mean some of our best lineups were with Max Christie because he is good on both sides. Right? He can knock down the open 3, and he can defend the best player on the other team. Right? So it's just like, he's a guy that has a lot of hope and promise. Look, I'm actually super high on Max Christie, like genuinely. I think out of all the young guys we have, I think Max Christie has the best potential to actually potentially be a star. Will he get there? I don't know, right? I think at worst he'll be, a KCP type guy, right? Where he's just a high quality 3-and-D style guy. Maybe like an Alex Caruso type, just can defend multiple positions, knock down the open three, hustle guy, do the dirty work. I think Max Christie at worst will be that guy, or just the role guy you need. Best case, I think, he, is like Paul George, like a small Paul George light, right? Where, he can defend basically multiple positions, right? Paul George, obviously, Paul George could defend 1 through 5 in today's NBA. So I'm not saying he will be Paul George, but I'm talking about in the sense of he can make a play, he can knock down the shot from pretty much anywhere, right? He can defend multiple positions, right? I think best case scenario, absolute best case scenario, Max Christie is the 2-guard version, right? Where he's smaller, but he can just go get a bucket, right? Because you've seen that from him already. You've seen his ability to shoot over the top, to beat guys off the dribble, to knock down some difficult shots, to finish through contact, all that stuff, right? So again, maybe Paul George isn't the best example, but it's just kind of one that came into mind that I was like, Max Christie being the guard version of that rather than the big forward version. But I really do think Max Christie, again, he's incredibly young. He's 2 years younger than Dalton Knecht, right? And is really our only two-way guard forward that we have, right? Because, Dalton Knecht, we don't even know if he can defend at an NBA level. He was getting torched at times in Summer League, right? I do like that Dalton Knecht doesn't quit on plays and kind of keeps pressing, but yeah, he was struggling to defend in Summer League, right? So we don't know what his defense looks like. Jared Vanderbilt's defense, no offense. Rui's offense, no defense, right? Gabe Vincent is kind of hot and cold shooting. Defensively, he can be good, but D'Lo and Reaves, obviously. Max Christie is really our only legit 2-way 3-and-D player on the roster. So I do think he's going to be a big part and have a big role. And if he does have that emergence and he does have that standout, I'm not talking about him scoring 20 or anything like that, but if he can get to 12 a game off the bench, that's huge. That's huge. And be able to defend at a high level. I'm not talking about elite level. I'm talking about just a high level, which we've seen him do against guys like Damian Lillard and, Devin Booker and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of promise with him. But lastly, Rui Hachimura. Look, Rui to me is simpler. Right? Because, again, he's coming off a great season. Really, it's just, can you replicate last season? Right? Can you replicate the efficiency with J.J. Redick? Can J.J. Redick find ways to make Rui even more impactful? Right? I just felt like he was slot out of position all season. I felt like Darvin Ham didn't really put Rui in position to have success heavily. I think Rui just kind of adapted and evolved just to be able to be in the rotation and stuff, right? Where, again, I'm not saying you can never play him at the 3, but he's a 4. He is. It's clear as day. He's best at the 4. Even last season, he had literally career nights every time he played the 4. So he's a 4. But that doesn't mean you can't go big at times and play him at the 3. I just, again, think you need to be in the right spot. But one is, does Rui make it through the season with the Lakers? And 2, what's his role? Is he continuing to start? Is he going to be there, or is he coming off the bench? Look, I've said it myself. Going under the assumption that D'Lo, Reaves, LeBron, and AD are your starters, although I've made the argument numerous times that I think Reaves should come off the bench, but it's probably not going to happen. So let's go under the assumption that the 4 guys are your starters, right? I personally think Jared Vanderbilt should be there. It's our best lineup. It's our best unit. Gives us the best balance. I know Rui Hachimura and the starting unit is 12 points better than everybody. But the problem that I talked about all season long, even when the Lakers were 9-0 with Rui, is what happens when the offense isn't clicking. What happens when guys can't hit shots and he can't stop anybody? Then what? And you ran into Denver when things were looking great. Lakers are up 20. As soon as you hit that brick wall, boom, that was it. It was over, right? So my hope is that, you know, if you start Rui, fine, but like more times than not, he's sliding over to the 4. And it's kind of operating as LeBron's backup. Because I would go again, I'd go D'Lo, Vincent, Reaves, Christie, Vando, Connect, Braun, Rui, 80, and then Christian Wood and Jackson Hayes. I think depend on the matchups. I would go with Wood more often than not. But you could even split the minutes, whatever, however you want to approach it. That's what I would do. But look, I'm really excited for these 3. I think all 3 of these guys are going to be very important, very impactful this season. But as always, this is a discussion. Pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Do you think, like, yeah, these 3 are going to be massive for us this year? Do you think, we'll see how it all plays out? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.